But if you had to wager, what would it be?
I always wanted to start my own business, actually.
Is that right? What sort of business?
Artisanal.
I feel like I've just had a long bath in a cold lake.
My, can it be? Their daughter, can it be you? Well, who else? My dear girl, look at you. You survived.
Jared! I knew I would find you here. There was no prison in all the realm I would not enter to find you. Come, we must go quickly. The situation in Home Forest is dire, Jared, and these Immaculates are nothing like those in the stories. They are wicked. We must leave before they find us here.
Oh, Bear Daughter, I should have. Well, you see, I can't just run off. I'm home, and I've work to do here. Hello to you, too. I almost hadn't noticed you there. And who is this, Bear Daughter? Friend of yours?
The Source Hunter has helped me come far, Jared. I have seen so many things. But there is time enough to discuss all once we return home. We must go, Jared, before the followers of Attenborough find us.
As I said, Bear Daughter, I am not leaving. Home Forest is gone. You know that, don't you? By now, rot will have infected every living thing within 5 miles of the cabin. It's a wonder you yourself didn't succumb. You needn't entertain these foolish thoughts of returning there, least of all with me. I am among my kind now, the Immaculates. What exactly did you think I was studying all these years, girl? More stories to read to my illiterate servant by night? Well, to be fair, it was hardly intentional. I was experimenting with Tenebrium, trying to distill its powers into a potion when I produced an aerosol that spread like an infection. I myself had already taken the proper prophylactic measures, but it's no surprise that the creatures of the forest weren't so lucky. And you, dear Bear Daughter, how curious that you were unaffected. Yes, curious indeed. I've never heard of a natural immunity to rot. What a useful quality.
Jared, no. No. I don't understand. That cannot be. Jared, please tell me this is not true. We are a pair. We found each other. All that is human in me has come from you.
Dear girl, these Source Hunters understand little of what they speak. The Immaculate Way is complex as life itself. Some must suffer so that others may live, so that the best may live. But you grew to serve me well, and in turn I furthered the Immaculate cause in both our names. I could not have done it without you, Bear Daughter. You were essential, and now it can be as it was before. Together, Bear Daughter, together again, we will serve the cause of the goddess and her righteous plans. You in service to me, and I in service of the One Way, as before. Don't you remember how happy we were?
Jared has been more than a mentor to me, Source Hunter. He has shown me the poetry of life itself. Yes, I have served him, and in return he has served me the names of the colors and the creatures I call my family. Without him I would have no past. I would have no name. Yet from you I have understood something new. More important than blind obedience is the ability to stand for and by myself. I stand before Jared now, and I do not see my old friend any longer.
Come, dear girl. You don't mean...
No, Jarrett. I cannot follow you down this path. Not after what you've done, not after what you've become.
You selfish, selfish girl. I ought to have left you stupid and wild as I found you. I see education has done nothing to improve you. You're of no use to anyone anymore.
I am of use to myself. And I myself will hunt down every last one of these immaculate savages, starting with you. I thank you even as I say goodbye. Meet your demise!
Just a heads up, but I found myself on the receiving side of a spot of friendly fire during that last encounter.
Maybe that wouldn't happen if you wouldn't keep strutting about the battlefield like a barn-sized bullseye.
So it's my fault your arm's as steady as that of a dithering drunk. Learn to aim true, or get your ass back to the academy.
Rawr! That is, how can I help you, my friend? Jarrett, he lost his way. Or perhaps he never found it. He was dear to me, Source Hunter. But fondness cannot taint what is right. I will remember Jarrett as I loved him best, by the fire, singing the songs of our people. We were together then, in a way these recent mistakes cannot taint.
Well, looky here. A human, just about the size and shape of the one that got away. Must be a gift from the All-Mother herself. I'll wager you've got at least 10 nice full pints of blood in you, human. Ah, that stone will be swollen as a tick. Come on then, nice and quiet. Mangov's waiting for you.
Stay where you are, lost one. Only those of rank among we Immaculates may enter this hallowed ground. Ah, to meet you is my blessing, enlightened one. I apologize for my rough demand, but I shudder to imagine a lost one walking freely among the goddess's grounds.
Sort of mood. Zappy zappy, if you know what I mean.
Our great and glorious goddess, blessed be your
Please,
sanctified
I'm
soul.
begging you!
Allow these lost ones to be absorbed by higher beings. May our daggers nudge your
I don't
world
want to
into
die!
better.
I'm not ready! Please!
What pleasant company. The Source Hunter, is it? I'd heard tell you'd been stalking across Sicil and into fair Lucula. Ever bent on disrupting the designs of our good goddess and conduit, so the rumors go. Ever eager to prevent the inevitable day of reckoning at hand. But the blessed goddess has guided you here, Source Hunter. She has delivered you into our hands, and she has deemed you a blemish upon her ever more balanced world. Only your death will restore the harmony you have disturbed. Wrung dry upon these stones, you'll serve our cause at last. Struggle if you wish, Source Hunter. Your fate was sealed the moment you dared to stand against the goddess.
Stop this lunatic! This madman Lucian bled like hogs!
Bled like hogs! Help! I don't want to die. I'm not ready. Please.
This madman Lucian bled like hogs! Help!
I can
Welcome, visitor, to this humble library. May the goddess guide thee in thy search for knowledge. Why, yes, this church is more than a house of worship. It has long been a bastion of the collective knowledge of all of Rivellon, a home for spirit and for learning. Even the good King Breckus in his better days would bless these halls with frequent visits. As I recall, his favorite tomes were those devoted to ancient goblin magic. Though, between us, he also occasionally requests, in somewhat bashful tones, the latest steamy romance. I say, a humble king is such a blessing in these troubled times. Well, I'd be remiss to fancy myself an acquaintance of the good king, but I serve him as best I can, indeed. Have you news of his condition, by the by? It's been so very long since I heard word. Oh, poor king is so beset by troubles. It seems the goddess has sought fit to test him most thoroughly. But our good goddess delivers blessings alongside every trial. She's destined Breckus to face countless troubles, but she gave him a beloved sister to bring him through each one. Cassandra, that dear young woman, I can think of no finer right hand for our king. They're forged by their very souls, you know, tied for all time. Well, I've my duties to attend to, haven't I? As long as the hubbub stays out of the library, I'm content. Hardly a day goes by that there isn't a fine ruckus down there, though. Nonsense. He's only a bit ill, of course. And what with the goddess's foes gaining ground, it's no wonder he's touched by disturbances. And I'll not hear anything to the contrary. Oh, that great heavy thing sets the place in tremors. I always see them fiddling about down there, making it heave back and forth. But if you're asking me exactly how, I can't say. Have a look behind some pillars, maybe. They're always sneaking around behind the pillars, making a racket.
The sound! I think the altar moved.
Whoever left these silly buttons all over the walls did no favors for the decor.
Did that cause a reaction? Now to find out what effect that had. Does anything seem different now? Well, that was efficient.
Welcome, Source Hunter, welcome! I must admit I'm rather disturbed by your presence here. Not because I fear you, no. Because I must assume that the goddess has willed us to meet like this. Like intimates, in these holy chambers. Perhaps she wishes for you to see, Source Hunter. Perhaps she wishes for you to understand our way. Perhaps she has willed it time for our factions to walk side by side toward a new beginning. This history of Source versus Hunter is as long as it is gruesome. Aren't you tired of fighting? So what if it is dark? What is so terrible about darkness? I ask you why a natural and neutral aspect of the cosmos, of our lives, can be banished. It is easy to view death, or sacrifice, as we practice it, as inherently negative. But the easy perspective is very infrequently correct. Why regard death, an utterly unavoidable aspect of our very natures, with fear and panic? Only by abandoning the fear of death do we truly live. You say Source is dark. We say that to use it is to embrace the so-called darkness within each and every mortal. How can we deem an aspect of our very selves to be dark? Who decided that to die was a weakness, a failure, a tragedy? No. To die is to be completed. To kill then, to kill is to carry this completion forward. Ah, Source Hunter, this is what the Conduit fears you will never understand. For how could you? Your kind are agents of maintenance. You must keep the established order. You must enforce the existing laws. But what if everything you know is a mere shadow of what could be? What if you are regulating a system that is inherently broken? Though I doubt you will grasp this, Source Hunter, we Immaculates have come to believe that the life we live is no true life, and we seek to restore a better, more authentic existence. The original way, Source Hunter, the singular awareness that was once the void, before we were wrenched apart by existence, before we were separated into a million warring minds. And the time is nigh. Each sacrifice brings the void closer. Each bloodstone helps the Conduit to call it nearer. She and she alone communicates with the goddess. She and she alone can bring the goddess' intention to the ears of the faithful. Whither the goddess turns her eyes, the conduit is there to enact her will. And now do you see, Source Hunter? Do you understand that walking the Immaculate Path is the only way to conclude this experiment called existence? Do you see that to bring true balance, true equilibrium, we must rejoin one another in the void? And do you see why I cannot permit you to intervene in what is coming?
Death is at hand! Now this is valuable. Sigurd's beard was a find! A map to the Source Temple in the Phantom Forest. Sounds like a location worth noting. What's the word, Source Hunter? So that's her plan. She intends to summon Astarte and the Void Dragon and overwhelm the goddess with an unstoppable army. With Astarte gone, there will be nothing to stop the Void from consuming all of Rivellon. Our mission is greater than us, greater than Leandra, Source Hunter. It is a quest to save all of existence from eternal blackness. Her plan must not succeed. Sister, what have you done? Source Hunter, you've learned so much already. That spell you found. If it's to be believed, Leandra has created Death Knights. Only that spell, combined with her blood, will make them vulnerable to attack.
Straight to the void?
A bit drafty here, isn't it? Are we near
Did you know anything about his affair at the King Crab?
Come now.
Do you really think he'd let me in on it in advance if he'd been planning an affair with your sister?
box? It's
How
got
can I
all
tell?
kinds of wonders
Maybe
stashed
you taught him a
inside.
thing or two about slinking around in between shadows. What's the word, Source Hunter? Why, it seems you're more than caught up, aren't you? You've already got the spell and the blood, both of which we'll need, if the spell is to be believed, to slice through Leandra's army of Death Knights. Remarkable. That means we've only to find Zandalor now. Long ago, when Source was banished, a league of great men and women promised to protect its secrets. The Keepers of the Source, they called themselves. Our wizard is its last living member. That night in the King Crab Inn, Leandra was after something that only he knew. Find him, and you'll learn where to find her. He lives in Hunter's Edge, a village east of Lucula. When last I saw him, he was in a panic about Leandra's betrayal. It's possible that he'll have flown Hunter's Edge. You may need to investigate to find a hint of his whereabouts. Take this ring, it will mark you as my ally. If you should find Zandalor, he'll know I sent you.